Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The idea of sacking or desensitizing the horse is not about making the horse get used to a certain object or tool or equipment that you're going to use with him, like the saddle, for example, or the bridle, or the bit, or whatever. It's about letting the horse know that when he spooks, regardless of the reason, regardless of the time, you will be able to control him while he's trying to spook. When he tries to rear up, or buck, or bolt, or do a certain move when he spooks, he has the right to do it. He has the right to try to succeed in it. But if your hand accuracy is correct while leading him and in body language, you should be able to control him. So you're teaching the horse that you are controlling him when he spooks. So the more he spooks, or the more the thing you are using to desensitize the horse is actually working and spooking the horse, that's the idea. It's not about scaring him. You don't want to spook him or scare him, but you want him to be able to spook or be afraid and try to do a certain move that he might try with you in riding. And when he tries it in leading and you deal with him in the right way and control him, he will know that when he does it in riding, it will not be a dangerous situation. When the horse is afraid of a carpet like that, or a blanket, or a sack, or a bag, or whatever. And when he's afraid of something, he's trying to bolt or buck or rear up, and you dealt with him in the right way with the hand accuracy in leading. When you do that in riding, first ride, first trot, first canter, first gallop, and so on, anything you do for the first time will make the horse spook. If the horse spooks in riding and you control him in riding, which is what is supposed to happen if you are a good rider, he will not be surprised or shocked because you already did that before. It's not the first time you control him when he spooks, you already did that in leading before riding. But when you make the horse get used to a certain object or tool or equipment, like the saddle, for example, you do it with time, and you give the horse his time and put it on the horse's back and let him, let's say, buck in the paddock, and he gets used to it. He learned that every single time a new thing happens to him and he's afraid or he wants to spook, he will do the same exact thing he did in the first place or the first time. You put the saddle, you let the horse loose, and he bucks in the paddock, he gets used to it, and you lead him with it on his back. Which means when you ride him for the first time, he will buck until he gets used to you. When you trot him or canter him, he will buck until he gets used to you. Now the difference is the saddle is a tool that you tie on the horse's back. There is no real danger on the saddle. It's really hard for it to come out or come off his back, and even if it did, there is no danger on it. It's a tool. But you as a man or a rider, you cannot actually hold yourself on his back as much as the saddle. You're not tied on his back, you're holding yourself on his back, and if something happened to you, if he fell down on you or you fell down from the horse's back or whatever, you will hurt yourself. So if the horse is used to a certain object, it's not actually gaining the horse's trust. You're just making the horse get used to it. You can do it in many different ways, including wrong ways. For example, put it on the horse's back, let him loose, or turn him loose in a big paddock. He will buck a lot until he gets used to it, and he will walk while it's on his back. A saddle, a bag, a sack, or whatever. But here, you're touching him with it, moving it on the air randomly, touching his, let's say, area between the thighs or the above the shoulders or behind the ears or whatever sensitive areas, and allowing him to know that you are going to spook or afraid, become afraid or be afraid, and when you are afraid you will buck or rear up or bolt or whatever, and I will deal with you in the right way and will be able to make you fail at what you wanted to succeed in. When I am able to make you fail every single time you want to succeed in a certain move, that means when I ride you, I will succeed in doing that, because this is what we do as riders. We make the horse fail in the first ride when he wants to buck. First trot, you make the horse fail in bolting or bucking. First canter, you want the horse to fail in bolting or bucking or stopping and refusing to canter, and so on. So that's the race between you and the horse. He tries to succeed in certain moves to use them against you. You deal with him in the right way to make him fail in these moves, and you end up using these moves against him instead of him using it against you. So, a blanket, a carpet, a sack, a bag, an outfit, it doesn't matter. If he spooks and tries to do something when he's afraid, that is the idea. So the idea of doing it without allowing the horse to spook or without wanting the horse to spook means you're not doing the goal itself. You're not achieving the idea of it. The idea is to make him spook, and the more he spooks, the better it is, because you want to control him. Now, If you do that and you don't have enough accuracy with the horse and he spooks, then you end up dealing with him in the wrong way. You are ruining the horse, not because the test itself or the style or the way itself is wrong, but because you did something you're not actually prepared for or you're not ready for. I'm not ready or not prepared for, see it fell down on the ground. He just spooked in his place. While if I did that and he was used to it, but he was afraid now of it, the first thing he's going to do is buck towards the phone or bolt or whatever. So I'm not trying to make the horse get used to something without being afraid of it. I'm trying to make the horse as afraid as possible, as spooked as possible, to let him know that he shouldn't be afraid or shouldn't be spooked. What does that mean? It means you are afraid or spooked for a reason. That reason is gone. So why should you be afraid, or why should you be scared? Now, if he's afraid or spooked for a reason, and that reason is not gone, he will still be afraid. He will still be spooked. Now, yes, he will get used to the object itself, to the tool itself, but when you change it, he will be afraid again. The difference between you and me, or this way and other ways of riding, is that I already taught him that when he's afraid, I'm controlling you. But if you say, when you are afraid, do whatever you want until the fear is gone, and the fear will go away and you will stop being afraid or bucking or bolting, whatever, then when you ride him for the first time, don't prevent him from bucking when he's afraid of you on his back. When you trot him for the first time, don't prevent him from bolting when you are on his back while he's trotting or cantering and so on. So getting used to something is completely different than controlling him while he's being afraid. The more he's afraid, the more he's spooked, the better it is, because it will make the horse learn or know your hand accuracy much faster. Now, if you try to do it and you don't have enough accuracy, then you shouldn't do it in the first place because you're not good enough to do it. In that case, the main things like, for example, blankets on the horse's body in very cold weather, the halter, the bridle, and so on, are stuff that you have to do with the horse. So you have to do it in let's say a respectful way without spooking the horse, because you're not good enough to control him. Not because it's wrong to do it in a, let's say, fast, rough way and make him spook or afraid. Actually, this is the better way if you are good enough for it. Why is it the better way? Because it will make the horse learn the idea of controlling him when he's afraid, instead of preventing him from being afraid or being spooked. I don't want him to not be afraid or spooked. I want him to know that I'm controlling him when he's afraid, when he's spooked, because it's just a matter of time before he will be afraid and spooked as a horse when you ride him, when you trot, when you canter, and so on.